Alright, this is Mr. Gomez doing your pre-cal tutorial. Section 1.4, we're talking about functions. So here's the definition of a function from your textbook. Function f from a set A to a set B is a relation that assigns to each element x in the set A exactly one element y in the set B. The set A is the domain, or set of inputs, of the function f, and the set B contains the range, or set of outputs. Go ahead and read that a couple of times, see if you can figure it out. But math definitions by nature sometimes are difficult to figure out. So let's talk our way through it. What's important about a function? The important top ideas behind a function is you've got what we call input values, and you've got what we call output values. Okay? Now sometimes we call these input values the domain of the function. Sometimes we call those output values the range of the function. But basically what's going to happen is you've got this value, we'll call it x. And let's say we've got this function machine here, right? And we're putting x into the function machine, we'll call the function machine f. Okay? What's going to happen when we put that x value in, it's going to put out a y value. It's going to have an output. But every x value that we put in is going to have a unique y value. All right? So we could have a function that says something like f of x equals x squared minus 2. Okay? So here's my function. What the idea of function is we're going to take a value. So let's say our value is 4. I'm going to take 4 as my input. I'm going to input it into this function and do whatever the function says to do with the input. So here the function says square it and subtract 2. So take your input value, square it, and subtract 2. So I input 4. Well, I'm going to do 4 squared and subtract 2. So 4 squared is 16. 16 minus 2 is 14. Okay? So the big ideas behind a function is that you have an input value, call it our x value or our domain. You've got output values, it's our y or our range. Okay? So every time you input something here, something comes out as your output. All right? And you only get, one of the key things here is you only get one thing as your output. So for every x value or every input value, you only have one output value. All right? So this is how we evaluate a function. And with a function, we could put in anything we wanted for our input. So let's say instead of f of 4, I don't know, I just wanted f of c. Okay, well that means I'm going to take c, I'm going to square it and subtract 2, so c squared minus 2. And basically all you're doing is you're plugging in a value for x, and it doesn't matter what that value is. I could even plug in an expression for x. I could say f of x plus 5. Okay, I'm going to take that, whatever I'm inputting, I'm going to square it and subtract 2, so I'll take x plus 5 squared minus 2. Well, x plus 5 squared, if I were to FOIL that out, right? Remember x plus 5 times x plus 5. If I FOIL that out, I'll get x squared plus 10x plus 25. And then I've got the minus 2, so that becomes x squared plus 10x plus 25 minus 2 is 23. Alright, so there is my output. If I input x plus 5, I'm going to output this whole x squared plus 10x plus 23. Okay, but the idea is whatever you put in, you run the function, and then you get one thing coming out. Alright, so that's the basic to a function. In the next video, we're going to do some more with functions.